What's going on, guys? I'm Nick Conti, and in this video, we're going to go over the raw truth of trading and the lessons I've learned as someone who's been trading for 3+ years now. So, we all got to trading because we thought it was an easy way to make money. We had a few good trades, and we think to ourselves, trading's so easy. Why doesn't everyone do this? And then 1 to 3 weeks later, we find out why not everyone does this. Because it's also a very easy way to lose money, right? Real quick, how did I get into trading? So, a friend of mine put me onto a brokerage called Robinhood, and I downloaded the app. He told me about stocks and everything. Didn't think much of it. And around that same time, I was playing fantasy football. Why do I bring that up? I'll tell you right now. So with fantasy football, for those of you that are familiar, you gotta pick really good players, make sure you're playing them in games where they're gonna perform well so that you can win the league. Now, how do you know how the player's gonna perform? Obviously, you don't know for certain, but you could play the odds that that player's gonna play well by seeing, say for a wide receiver, for example, someone who catches the ball, seeing if they're going up against a defense that's easy for him to perform well against, like a defense with a weak pass defense, right? So you see how that player's been performing. If he has good momentum, he's been putting up good numbers, getting a lot of passes, getting a lot of touchdowns, and stuff like that. So I realized, now I won my fantasy leagues back-to-back years at this time. So this is my second year winning. And I realized I was putting so many hours into studying these players, doing like all the player analysis, looking at all the different other analysts, like their 2 cents on whether or not the player's going to play well, who's going to perform well for that week. I wouldn't always trust their picks, but I would do the similar analysis that they would do, look at the stats and doing all that pattern recognition. So now for the traders that have been trading for a while, you might have picked up on some of the terms that I use to describe how I would go about picking my players for my fantasy leagues. Pattern recognition, data analysis. I realized that same type of analysis could directly apply into trading in the markets. Now, I know it sounds totally degenerate comparing fantasy football to trading in the stock market, but it just made sense to me at the time. And I was doing the same type of analysis with technical analysis with the charts, seeing how a stock's been performing, if it looks like it's going to go on the rise, seeing if there's any potential bullish momentum that could really push the stock to go higher, and analysis like that. So it was very easy. 2021, it was very easy to make those types of decisions, saying like, oh, this stock's probably gonna go up, because 2021 stocks were only going up, at least for a good interim of time between like September and October. That's when I first really got into it, but I can't really say I was taking it super serious, because I would take swing trades calls on Facebook at the time before it was even Meta. Wake up, be up $200, sell it, go back to sleep before my 10 a.m. or before my 11 a.m., whatever. And fast forward, obviously I was making money left and right, just buying calls, swinging calls, but then the market decided to not go up. And that's when I was losing money, because I was putting all my money into trades. Because my mindset was, why am I gonna leave my money in buying power if I'm not, like, it's just gonna be sitting there? Why wouldn't I just put that into trades to make it make even more money, right? Like a true degenerate. So obviously I ended up losing most of that money. I did take withdrawals. I withdrew a few thousand. Didn't make a crazy amount. I think I made like 10K, just under 10K. And before I lost a good amount of it. But then that's when I really decided to lock in, start taking it serious, really take into consideration risk management, money management, trade management, all the managements when it comes to trading. So I kept that in mind, worked on having a specific edge strategy and not just saying, oh, it looks like it's going to go up, let me just buy calls and swing it. Understanding how options work, learning the Greeks, the whole 9 yards. Now, some of you guys might not trade options, and that's fine. I'm going to get into futures too. So 2022, lost a good amount of money. I tried pivoting to other businesses, wholesaling, real estate, AI automation for small businesses, but didn't really carry those through. I had a partner of mine, we were doing it together, and then just fell apart. I mean, he's still my buddy and everything, but we just didn't stick with it. And 2023 is where I really started taking my trading seriously again. I was journaling my trades, still journaling my trades, journaling trades, doing the analysis necessary to place good trades and all that good stuff. But I was still struggling. I was still having a hard time. And yeah, so that's just the backstory of how I got into trading. Started futures 2024, taken out a bunch of payouts since then. And here's what I've learned. The things that we get out of trading are things we don't expect to get going into trading because we're just trying to make money. But the main things I've learned from trading, a lot of lessons you learn from trading about yourself, about the markets, pretty much directly tie into lessons you learn in life. Not talking about like strategy related stuff where it's like specifically for the markets, but more so like the stuff you learn about yourself to become a better person outside of trading, right? So like the basic ones, like FOMO, you shouldn't chase trades, or like they say you shouldn't chase women, you shouldn't try to chase things, you should try to attract. More so just being patient. Patience is so important when it comes to a lot of these things. Patience, but still showing up every day. That segues me into number 2, which is being consistent. Being consistent is so important when it comes to anything you're trying to achieve. And this is something we learn while we're young, but it's super important as you're getting older too, to stay consistent, to keep that momentum so that you could really elevate your trading and your profitability going forward. Now, I know a lot of you guys have been having a really hard time. You've been going at it for years, still haven't taken a payout yet. That happens. What you really got to ask yourself is, 1, are you passionate about trading? Do you love what you're doing? And 2, do you see yourself being successful in trading over time? Because if you don't have at least one of those 2 things, then you're never going to make it in trading. It's just not going to be a career for you. It won't even be worth it. You're just going to be digging yourself a deeper hole and not knowing when to quit. What you really need to do is, because I know all of you guys, if you're watching this video, then you must have a bunch of other influencers that you watch in the trading space, whether it be on X, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Well, Twitter's X, TikTok. It's very important to think for yourself. What do you really want out of life? What is it you're trying to accomplish? What are your dreams? Do you want to have a family? Do you really care? Because, actually, let me finish my sentence. Do you really care about like building an empire, having this whole grandiose business, making millions of dollars? Obviously, our initial answer is yes, but do you care about it to the extent that you've been thinking about that before you even found out about social media? Or could it be that you've seen all this advertising from gurus, whether it be trading or other business courses, other social media influencers in the money space? Did they program that into your mind to think that that's what you want, even if that's not what you actually want? And I'm speaking a lot to kids that are going into college that are like, oh, or that are in high school right now, that are like, oh, like, what do I need to go to college for? I'm just going to grind out business or whatever. I definitely recommend going to college. I went to college. I only did it for 2 years, but I was taking on too much debt. I want to get my degree eventually. I'm doing it for my late father who passed a couple months ago. Yeah. What's it called? I don't mean to take a pause there, but it's very important to really know what you want, know if this is a career you actually want to pursue, and don't feel like you're getting peer pressured by the media to keep doing something that you don't want to do. Right? You really got to decide whether you're passionate about this, because if you're not, you're much better off finding another career, whether it be sales, whether it be consultant, whatever it is. Take the whole idea of matrix out of your mind and just do I don't want to give you life advice. I'm 24. I'm still learning new things myself. But I'm just going by what I've learned as a trader, what I've learned just as a whole through other entrepreneurial pursuits and just life in general. Like, we all have our own life experiences. But it's very important to decide if trading's for you. Make sure you actually apply the character development that you've learned as a trader. And that's how you actually succeed in this business. Being passionate and applying the lessons that you learned as a trader. is what's going to take you to the next level as a trader to actually become profitable. And bonus, have something to do outside of trading, because if you're solely focused on trading, your life's going to be miserable. You're going to hate yourself. You're not going to be able to hang out with any friends, have a girlfriend or partner or whoever. Life is going to suck, and it's not even going to be worth the money that you're making as a trader. You need to have a life outside of trading, and that I recommend getting a job, because believe it or not, you're more likely to find a partner from your job, because you'll be in your local area. You'll be able to see people in person, talk to them, build up your charisma. Because if you're solely looking at the computer, and I know I'm 11 minutes in, but this is probably the most important thing that I can tell you, is you will become much more socially awkward if you're only looking at the screen all day. Trust me. Your parents are going to be disappointed that you're only sitting in front of the computer, and they're going to have no idea what you're doing. They don't understand the journey you're on, the work you've been putting in. Please get a job while you're trading. If you're not doing that, you're only wasting your life away. I promise you, that is the number one thing I could say in this video. Please make sure you have a job or something that gets you outside to talk to people, because you do not want to be a social hermit, be in your 30s, not have a girlfriend or whoever, and just feel like a total loser. Because it doesn't matter how much money you make from trading. That everlasting shame is you would give all that money back to either have family members back or to have a life partner. Trust me. So keep all those things in mind when it comes to trading. I didn't make it sound pretty or glamorous at all. It's great money that can be made from it. Shout out to Lanto Trades. He just pulled out what did he make, like $1 million in 3 days from prop firms, or like $300K he pulled out in profits. That's insane. And I think he's 23, 22? Dude's a beast. Shout out to Lano. He's awesome. I've been watching his stuff for a while. He's really cool. That's it. That's all I got to say, guys. I hope this video, you found it helpful. I hope it was able to pivot you in the right direction when you're trading, to either keep going or to find a new career. Either one is totally fine. Guys, keep that in mind. Don't let any of these influencers brainwash you into thinking otherwise, because they're just trying to sell you in their community. They're just trying to sell you in their courses, mentorship, whatever they're selling. Because if you're not trading, if you're not watching their content, they can't make money off you. That's why they're pushing for you to stick with trading for the most part. I'd say do it, whatever makes you feel happy, but stick with trading if it's something you're actually passionate about and you think you could succeed in this business.